welcome to Resonate Marketing's Work Together Wednesday. This is where we talk about business ideas to help small business owners. And sometimes it's me and sometimes it's a guest. And today it is a fellow Resonate marketing person, Melissa Holder. I'm going to introduce her in a couple of minutes. I've started just a couple of minutes early. I want to ask you to do a few things. First of all, we're coming live every Wednesday at 1:30 here on Facebook. And if the topic, if it's something that you can learn from, I encourage you to put it on your calendar and join us. If it's not something that's of interest to you, that's okay. But I would love if you could make us a regular part of your weekly routine. And if you have thoughts to share, this isn't just a one-way venue. It's not just us sharing information. We want to hear from you. Maybe we are talking about a topic that you have experience with, and your story you could share that, and it could help other people. So when you see the option to be notified when Resonate Marketing goes live, please click that option, because that will help you with a reminder when we go live. We don't go live a whole heck of a lot, so we're not going to be cluttering up your feed with a lot of notifications. But I do encourage you to engage with us on a regular basis, and we will hopefully teach you some things and learn from you as well in our discussions. Let's see. I should probably also ask a question. If you're here watching it or watching the recording, it's probably because you have a question about posting on social media. So writing posts on social media. So I would like to have an idea of how often you are posting. So post in the comments. Are you posting every day? Are you posting 3 times a week? How frequently are you currently posting for your business on social media? I'm curious. I mean, I have some friends that are posting multiple times a day. They go live every day. So there's a variety of the way that people are using social media. So please, whether you're watching live or in the recordings, put in the comments and let me know about, on average, how frequently are you posting on social media. I think that will be helpful for us to get to know you. And Melissa Holder, I'm so glad that God brought you into my path via Julie Simmons about 3 years ago. Melissa was already doing social media with some clients, and she joined the Resonate marketing team and has become a linchpin of our team. She's a senior project manager, and everything I throw at Melissa, she can handle. And there's been very few things where she said no. I politely declined. So thank you for being such a great member of our team. And what I've learned about Melissa over the 3 years we've been working together is that she truly has a gift for words. She creates content for Resonate clients, and she also does engagement on behalf of clients, and she comes out with things and ideas that I have. She takes it and makes it so much better, and I really appreciate your gift for words. And that's why I've asked you on today to share with us what are the things we need to think about when we sit down to create social media posts for our business.
Well, I appreciate you having me on today, and I had to chuckle with that little intro because all of those people who told me when I was little that I talked too much, see, look what the joke's on them. This is paying off now. So, um, but really, social media for me has been a fun way to write differently because my background is in public relations, where you tend to write press releases and longer format articles and things like that. But social media has really pulled out the journalism major side of me, I guess, a little bit more, um, because I've just found that social media it's different than writing any other way that you write for the most part. Um, the biggest tip I found is keeping it concise and short to the point is usually your best bet. Social media users, they tend to have shorter attention spans.
Point
There's
number
a lot
one.
of content. There's a lot of content out there, so there's a lot of scrolling. and it's hard sometimes to get people to stop and really engage and see what you're posting out there. They want Users want to be entertained and they want to be informed. Those are the um, two primary drivers for social media. So you just have to decide what they really need and provide them the solution. And that's usually done in short, sweet um, ways. Um, I've kind of said that social media, writing content for social media, it was less like being a student and more like being a journalist. When you're a student and you're assigned an essay, we have the introduction, we have a summary of what we're going to talk about, and then we talk about it, and then we have a conclusion. We're journalists, it is hard hitting. You get it straight, um, just fact that you want to hit home right away. So I think those are some key differences with social media content. I think a great way to explain it might be is to keep your sentences short and try not to be very wordy. And that can be hard for me. But act like you're talking to a child. You don't throw 3 points at them in a sentence. They won't retain it. They'll just gloss over and they won't get anything done. So you start with 1 point. You make sure they understand that, and then you move on to the next point. And 2 points is probably all you really need to address to a child and at one time in a media post. There's no reason to have to throw it all into one social media post.
So, for instance, if you have a product or service and there's three great things about that, you're not going to talk about all three things in one post. You're going to spread those out into a series of posts and maybe talk about that one great point in a couple of different ways before you move on to the second point and then talk about it in a couple different ways.
Exactly. So everybody responds differently too. So you're talking about that 1 point in a way that's emotionally appealing to the person that likes to know how is this going to make me feel is important. Then you're going to have the person just tell me what this is going to do for me and why this is going to be the best product for me to use. That's another reason, or another presentation style, if you will. So you talk about that, and then to your point, you move on, and then you do the same thing with feature number 2 of your product. It also is a great way to build content that you can use repeatedly, because that is obviously one of the biggest questions I always get is how do I know what to talk about? And the good news is you have a lot. You're talking about something that's important to you. So you break it down, don't overthink it, keep it simple, and to maximize your impact, make sure you know exactly what the highlight is. If you're having a sale and that's what you want to talk about, that should be your first thing that you mention. I'm having a sale. If it's that you have a great way of doing meal prep and you have 3 tips that are going to help with meal prep, hey, do you get tired of hearing what's for dinner every night? This is 3 tips, and that's something everybody can relate to, and they're going to stop and look at your content.
I think the thing that we as small business owners get wrapped up in is we want to communicate how we help you and change your lives, and that's our primary goal. But there's an 80-20 mix where it's suggested 80% just needs to make a human connection. And I think that that's part of what you do a great job also at remembering this is other humans that are out there we need to connect on an emotional level. How do I as a human want to be connected to? What makes me respond at an emotional level? So I think that emotion and that human connection is also a key component. Is it right?
I think you're exactly right, because no one wants to feel like they're being sold to all the time. And while it's important to have posts in your mix that do outline A, B, and C of why you should use your service or your product, that's going to feel overwhelming, and people are going to feel bombarded with that. So mixing it in, throwing a little humor in, if you're a fairly traditional company, is good. And on the other side, if you tend to be a really laid back company, just remember that some people do like to have something that's a little more structured in what they receive. And the tone is important. You're never changing your message, but you can change how you present it.
So I think that's a good segue for your third point here on our slide.
Yeah, so I'm trying
To throw in the unexpected every once in a while.
right, and I think people, again, they don't want to feel sold all the time, but they also don't want to think you're all about puppy dogs and flowers. And to the point that Melinda made earlier, people react differently, and you have to present things differently. Some people are more emotional. Some people are fact based. Some people are numbers based. Some people are, just there's the four main types of people, and you really want to try and hit all of them. And that's can be challenging when you're creating your post because you have a style. I have a style. And so when I write, I tend to write what I respond the best to.
Right.
And it's important to kind of outline, okay, if I was going to use this same message, how am I going to present it to someone who sees things a little bit differently than I do?
Right. And little plug here, my social media crash course has a 28-day plan, and I talk about how detailed you can get. You don't have to, it's optional. You can have a, general, I'm going to post so many days a week, but if you choose to, you can get detailed with this image is going to be appealing to this type of mindset. This post is going to appeal to that different mindset. So you can put that on your 28-day plan to help ensure that you're hitting all the different messaging styles of communication.
And I think it's important too, as you're doing this and as you're learning what works for your business, is to look at the reactions that you're getting from posts. Because if one format tends to really drive a lot more interaction, likes, and comments, then those are ones that you want to maybe shift to a little bit higher portion in your social media.
Exactly. If you don't measure it, then you don't know how to proceed. You don't know what's working. You don't know what to do more of. So that's a great point. All right. Should we look at our bonus section? Do you have anything else to add as far as creating the content before we move on to bonuses?
No, I just don't overthink it. That's a point. We get too caught up sometimes, and I'm guilty of it. Is this exactly right? Is this the exact right way of putting something forward? And just remember, you can't tell your whole story in one post. You want to build and you want to continue, and that'll help you build this relationship with people as you go.
Okay. Awesome. That's why I love working with you. I think you're exactly right. Okay, so our bonus section today is about engagement. So you have here engagement. Be real and don't forget to ask. What do you mean by that?
So, on being real, I think so engagement obviously is people liking, people commenting, people sharing the posts that you are putting out there. That's the goal. And that's at the end of the day, we want that positive feedback. We want to know that what we are saying is resonating with people, that they want to interact with us, and hopefully that leads to a sale or that leads to a business relationship, whatever that might be. So being real is important. Yes, you do want to talk about your product, but like we mentioned, no one likes to be sold to all the time. So throw in your dinner at a nice restaurant in your community and talk about how nice it was to get away. Or as you're walking down the street, pull out your phone and do a 30-second video about, look what I saw today. I can't believe how pretty this new landscaping was. You know, that just is a segue for someone to then say, hey, yeah, I need this. You know who did it? Or, yeah, they just finished, that was my house. They just finished doing this project. They were great. It just shows the human side of what you're doing. And that's really important because people, they resonate with that. They feel that. And then the other part was the ask. Put a question in some of your posts. I wouldn't do it every time, but put a question. If you have an article that you post or a quote that you put out there and that has really meant something to you over the years, what type of quotes have inspired you, or why do you agree with this article, or what's a favorite destination spot and why do you go there? Something that's open ended, not a yes or no question, because then you can respond back and say, "Oh my gosh, I love going to St. Simon's too. They have the best pizza place down there," and it becomes a conversation with people over your social media platforms.
Okay, but, and this is an issue we have with our clients, what if you ask a question and nobody answers?
Oh, I know. You just want to shake the computer. Where are you? One of the suggestions we make is to talk to close friends or even family members or people that you know that have worked with you in the past. Say, hey, I've got a really big post that I'm going to be putting out in the next couple of days. Can you go on and like and share or comment on that post? You can't obviously ask for every post that you do, but there are different posts, especially if you might be introducing a new angle to a product or if you might have a special event that's coming up. Ask people to be engaged because the more they do that, the more that you pop up in other people's feeds.
Right.
Never hurts to ask, right?
It doesn't. As long as you don't wear out your close connections,
Right.
asking them too often. But you can also copy the link from the post and email or text them and say, hey, could you please take 2 minutes and answer the question I ask in this post? So you can prep them ahead of time or you can send the link afterwards asking for their participation. That will be helpful.
Right. And that's, the easier you can make it for people. People want to help. They want to help you succeed. If they're in your circle, in your close circle, they want you to do good things. And so asking them to help shouldn't be a problem.
Right. I know I'm happy to help people. Sometimes
Right.
we're just so busy that I don't see or I don't know, and it doesn't take very long. And that's a great way that we can support each other as small business owners for free without buying somebody's product or service is to engage with their posts on social media. That helps to show your support and it helps with the popularity of the post in the algorithm. So that's an important part for people to know. If you want to support somebody but you don't have the budget, then your social power, your social influence definitely counts.
That's right. That's right. And asking people, if you give them a suggestion on what to say, then you also have more avenues to answer questions about a product or a service and to really be genuine through that relationship. And content is important even in how you're commenting because it all can circle back to what you're doing with your business.
Right. And it's important to be authentic even if you're engaging. Don't say things you don't mean. Don't exaggerate and say you love something when you don't, because I don't know how, but our human brains can actually tell, kind of.
So true. You can tell the people who have automatic responses on their posts. I mean, you absolutely can. They just don't feel genuine.
Right. Well, thank
And
you.
I think that's a great way to kind of end it up. Don't overthink your content and be genuine. That's what people will see. And if they want more information, when they want more information, they know where to go. They can get the technical. Be genuine, be authentic, and try not to be too overwhelming in one post.
And think of social media as a long-term relationship with lots of touches, lots of nurturing. It's not just a sale off the first post. You've got to be in it for the long haul.
Great point.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing with us today, Melissa. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everyone. See you next Wednesday, 1:30.